Game day.
Welcome everybody to the next episode of Chiefs Focus First and 10 Live, brought to you by Foco Sports. You're here with JP, Quentin, and Caleb. What's up, guys?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just watching this NFL honors and kind of getting a little annoyed with it, but you know, it is what it is. I actually, it was kind of comical because I was sitting down there with my wife and I picked everybody that they were, I just picked them. She goes, "You don't think he's going to get it?" And I said, "No, I guarantee I know who's going to get it." And I hit every single one of them. And she goes, "Wow." She goes, "How do you know that?" And I said, "Because it seems like every time we're in a position that we are ready, or anybody really is ready, they always go with the next guy." "What's up, Scott?" She goes, "Well, what are you watching it for?" And I said, "I really don't know." But, you know, kind of is what it is. I guess Kelly Clarkson's a little bit funny. But at least she put the hair.
There's been some funny Cowboys jokes.
Yeah,
they didn't know what the playoffs was past the 90s, so that was a good joke. So. Yeah,
and the field goal thing was pretty good too. I like that because that's all they could do is kick field goals. It was pretty good. Chris Jones got snubbed. Who else do you think is going to get snubbed? Do you think Mahomes is going to get MVP? Do you guys think he's actually going to get it?
Yes.
I agree. I think there's no way.
That's the last one that they're doing, right?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
All I know is
I think that's the last one they do.
Yeah, they better give it to him. That's all I can say.
I'll be interested to see who's on the list in turn because they changed the voting because they voted at 5. You could vote for 5 like a tiered system. So I'll be interested to see what the final counts are for people, at least who makes the list. I assume Jalen Hurts is going to be 2 on the list. But in terms of 3, 4, and 5, that'll be interesting to see because I assume that Justin Jefferson's going to get some counts. I know he wanted to Player of the Year, but I assume he'll probably be on that 5. But the other ones, I don't know.
I don't know either. What's up, Will? How are you, buddy? I don't know, man. I'm a little frustrated with it, but it is what it is. It frustrates me every time I watch it.
I still think that there's a real argument for Chris Jones to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think that, if 2 of those sacks probably stick, maybe he has a better chance at it because you're talking about the closer sack numbers. But I just think that he was so impactful. It's unfortunate that we've gotten to the point where, you can pretty much predict who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, or really any of these awards. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe that's because I watch enough football and I know how things are portrayed throughout the year. The conversation was really about Micah Parsons and Bosa from the beginning of the season, so
exactly.
It doesn't surprise me that Bosa won it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just feel like at this point it's. I feel like you should go off of more than just sacks and pressures. Chris Jones does so much more, in my opinion, personally. But I know he's using this for fuel for the Super Bowl, and I know he'd rather have a Super Bowl ring than a Defensive Player of the Year trophy. Yeah. So I think it'll work out at the end of the day, regardless. And much as frustrating it is, I think it's going to be fine. It'll work out.
Yeah. Who do we think is going to get the Walter Payton Man of the Year?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
I'm not
sure. I know Mahomes won the Twitter.
Yeah, he did. It would be pretty surprising to me if one player won 2 awards in the same honors. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever happened, but since this started, I don't know if there's been like one guy that's won 2.
I think they try to spread them out. Unless you just have a remarkable season, I think they try to spread them out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how.
I think the only year we knew who was going to win the Walter Payton Man of the Year was that year where the hurricane hit Houston and J.J. Watt was just spectacular. And when he did, I think that was the year where it was like, yeah, he's winning that.
Well, he spent like $100 million to help.
I mean, he
get back
he did so much for the city.
He did.
And I mean, it was amazing what he was able to do.
Yeah, I agree. They're going through it now. I just kind of keeping an eye on it a little bit, but a little bit of Chiefs talk. Everybody was worried about Sneed. Um, really, no reason to worry. I don't want to get too detailed into it, but he'll be fine Sunday. I'll leave it at that.
You want me to go through the official report?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
gamesmanship,
Go
guys.
ahead.
Gamesmanship. That's the key word here is gamesmanship.
Everybody was a full participant except Sneed, who was a limited participant. So the big thing coming out of it to me is that Kadarius Toney went from being a limited participant to a full participant.
Yep.
So that's big to me. The Eagles, on the other hand, had everybody practice. There's a bunch of guys that were limited in practice, but a lot of them were, early in the week they were getting rest on their official report, and now some of them are being limited. So guys like Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, so a lot of their veteran guys, they were reported as rest and limited today. Rest earlier in the week and limited today. So that doesn't surprise me. They're just sitting guys out.
Well, he said limited means hangover. You know what? You might be right. That was a zinger right there.
They've done a lot of events, so you never know what happens at this point.
It's been a lot of fun going on out there. So
hey, we've seen
know.
Jason Kelsey drink.
Yeah, and Travis is no slouch. So I think they both have a hollow leg. So they're having a blast out there. I enjoyed the fact that Nick Wright was out there doing his thing. He did his YouTube show, then he did the FS1 show. He's been, Nick's been getting kind of personal lately, man. He's been really talking about his family and his dad, and his dad. If anybody doesn't know, his dad is a fire chief. He was also part of the union, basically, for the firefighters in Kansas City to help them get what they need. He spent a lot of years doing that. But prior to that, and prior to him and his mother getting married, or prior to him and his wife getting married, he was he gambled a lot. And Nick admitted it. He gambled. That's how he made his living, and kind of is what it is. But he was talking about his son, because everybody was asking him, "Are you going to limit what your son does as far as gambling is concerned?" He said, "No, he's not. He didn't have a problem." He said, "My dad called me up and said I had a problem, gambling." And he said, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "We all know what you did for a living prior to being in the fire department. We know exactly what you did." And, it kind of let it go. But Nick, he bets. His son bets. I don't do it. I don't know why. I just don't.
I bet he's put some good money down for the Chiefs. I guarantee you that. But he put some good money down.
No doubt. That guy, he is a hardcore homer. There's no doubt about it. He is the epitome of homerism, and I love it. So, hey, man, how long
There's
has it
some
been
good
since...
bets right now, man.
Yeah, there is. There's a pretty good bet on Mahomes getting MVP, which I was pretty surprised about. $30 gets you 300. That's crazy.
Early in the year,
that's not bad.
Early in the year, he was like plus. He was like plus 900 to win MVP.
Yeah.
So
that's
because
insane.
Josh Allen and Joe Burrow were, all. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen was minus money at the time the season started. So if you were able, unlucky for me, my state has not legalized sports gambling quite yet.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, it is what it is. It'll come around soon. It's been legal here since for a long time, but
it'll happen pretty soon. I imagine within the next year. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. Like on some apps, Noah Gray, he's like minus 125 for 12.5 receiving yards.
Wow.
Yeah, I would take that.
He might get that.
That's what you're expecting. 2 catches. Really? That's what you're expecting. Do you think Noah Gray will get 2 catches? That's really what we're asking here.
Yeah, it's kind of a dumb... that's really a low bar bet. Good God.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it is what it is. I've noticed it seems like anybody that joins through... If anybody's on here and they're joining through Facebook, switch over to YouTube or Twitch. Facebook has a problem. I don't know what it is. Twitter seems to have somewhat of an issue as well, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they can't stay on very long because of that. So, or it keeps kicking them off. It's Facebook. It's on Facebook Live. I don't know if you're going directly to our page or if you're going to Facebook Live, but if you go to Facebook Live, I'm told it's a lot better. So, anyway, we're a day closer than we were yesterday, and it's the suspense is mounting right now, and Andy has some plays, guys. He's got some stuff.
Oh, I know they're rolling some stuff out. I can't wait. It's going to be a great offensive mastermind game with some defensive adjustments. I can't wait. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. So
I put this out earlier today. I said that this is going to be probably the best game of cat and mouse we've seen because the second half adjustments in this game are going to be really key because I don't think either one of these teams is blowing each other out because they are so closely matched. And we all know the Andy Reid first 15, his scripted offensive plays. So by the time that second half rolls around, and I have a question for you guys on this point too. Do you want the Chiefs to get the ball first, to go down and get the lead early to prevent Philly from getting really heavy into their run game? Or would you rather have that opportunity, the potential opportunity to score at the end of the first half and to get the ball at the start of the second half? What would you prefer?
I would prefer, honestly, the double, getting the ball at the end of the first half and then the beginning of the second half. I just think there's a good chance you're at least going to get 3 in one of those situations. And that's basically, in a way, you're kind of stealing a possession to where you're basically making your lead increase. So instead of going to halftime up 7, you can go up 10 and then maybe get another touchdown or field goal and go up by another possession. So I think that's how I feel personally doing that double side.
Yeah, I agree. I think going out there with a fresh defense on the first drive, you have a better probability of scoring at the end of the half and then scoring again at the beginning of the third quarter versus our defense not stopping them from scoring. I think if I had a bet, I would bet to go that route. I would rather defer. It just is what it is. We've always done well when we defer.
Yeah, I'm usually on board with that, and I still think I lean that direction for the Chiefs to have that option to score twice. And I feel better as a fan when the second half's coming down and like, okay, we start the ball with in the third quarter, so whatever's going on, we get the ball back. So I'm sure that sort of mentality is also instilled in the Chiefs themselves. Maybe not as magnified, but I think that mentality's got to be there. To me, though, I think this might be the first game in a while where I feel like if the Chiefs get the ball to start the first quarter, I'm not upset with it because if you're able to score quickly and then, stop Philly and then get up by 10, 14 early in the game, you're going to force the Eagles to throw the ball. And there's all sorts of numbers that are being thrown around that. One, the Eagles have not been tested this year. We talked about this earlier in the week, JP, that simply the Eagles have not been tested. The best quarterback they faced has been one game against Dak Prescott, one half against Aaron Rodgers, and Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
So
that sounds about right. And a couple of series of Brock Purdy. Not much at all.
So those are the best quarterbacks they faced this year. They have not been tested with a powerful offense for a full 60 minutes. So my point is that if they haven't been tested like this, they haven't been behind. If the Chiefs are able to get up quickly, you're going to force them to throw the ball, and that's not how this Eagles team is built. They're not going to win in a shootout.
Yeah.
And that's a great point too, Quentin. And we offer. I don't know if we talked about this. We guys talked about earlier, but Jalen hurts his arm. His shoulder is still bothering him. You saw in the NFC Championship game, they were just running the ball. And that is a good point. If the Chiefs can get out to a lead and have to rely on his arm, I think the defense can take advantage of that pretty quickly. So I see both sides argument, but that brings a great point there.
Yeah, I asked around about his shoulder, and they said, he's had another 2 weeks to basically heal up. But I think one good hit to it would put him back where he was. If he gets tackled or whatever. He did run the ball a lot, and the ball was handed off a lot in that NFC Championship game. The one thing I will say is that they had 4 passes, I think, that went for over 40 yards this season. total of 4. He threw the ball numerous times prior trying to get 40 yards, 45 yards, a touchdown, whatever the case is. But there was only 4 that went for 40-plus yards. So that plays a huge... especially after he got injured, but, when he came back, he wasn't healthy. And he may still be a little bit hurt, but so is Mahomes, for that matter. I don't think he's going to be completely 100%, but I think he's going to be as close to 100 as you're going to get. And everybody I've talked to out there said he looks great. Everything he's doing, he's making cuts, he's making runs, he's doing everything he normally does. So
I think the big difference between the two is we've seen Patrick Mahomes play 2 weeks ago now against the Bengals with his injury, and there's only a couple times where it really seemed to affect him on the field. Jalen Hurts, we have seen him play with that injury, and there has been a difference in his gameplay. You remember he had to play the last game of the season in order to help seal up that number 1 seed.
That is true.
If you look at his numbers before and after the injury, he was a pretty good deep ball thrower when they were throwing the ball deep. But since that injury, he doesn't have a touchdown pass, and he has 2 interceptions. And even the one deep pass he completed against the 49ers, it was that one pass that was supposed to be a drop, but, because they were able to hurry the ball up and snap the ball, that ball was still underthrown. So I do think that it's interesting that we spent a lot of time, and I don't just mean we as in us, I mean we as media and people who've talked about the Super Bowl, spent more time talking about the Mahomes ankle, where we've seen him, be able to play a game and not to have that affect him that much. But yet Jalen Hurts has the shoulder injury, and we've seen that affect his gameplay more.
Is this a game where you guys think the Chiefs are just going to basically send all-out blitzes and just see what he can do with his shoulder the first series or two? See what he can do?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do that too much because he runs too well. You got
you need a QB spy, but if he can't throw, like Quinn said, if he's even of these deep balls are not accurate enough, you might want to take that chance. Now you're going to need a spy, and you need things in perspective to kind of help with that. But it may not be a bad idea just to try it for the first series or two to see kind of what's going to happen.
I think I would give him a chance to at least throw the ball to see if he actually can throw it before we start blitzing crazy. He's a very versatile quarterback, so you have to be kind of careful with blitzing the guy. He's similar to Mahomes in that way. You blitz him and he's going to get out of your way most of the time. He's pretty fast. He does it with his legs versus his arm more. He doesn't really throw the ball after he starts running. He usually just runs the ball. I'd just be a little careful because he's pretty good at getting out of the way. And I think he's going to be running for his life this game.
Well, who would you guys prefer our QB spy be in the instance that they try to see what he does there? Who would you guys want to be this QB spy? Would it need to be you think Justin Reed would be a good spy? You don't think maybe you give it to Willie Gay? Do you think that's not going to work out?
I don't think he's fast enough. I think Justin Reed would be perfect.
Okay. What do you think, Quentin?
I don't think that you can just dedicate one the entire game. I think you have to mix up your coverages, and so that role will end up going to different people. I would think that the Chiefs defense uses the corners to blitz a lot in this game. I think, especially because we see that the defense trusts Brian Cook, and in terms of his ability to cover in the one-on-one, we saw him work pretty well against the Bengals and throughout the later part of the year in coverage. So that leads up a Justin Reed, or whether you want to use Sneed, these other guys, other defensive backs you can send on corner blitzes and safety blitzes because you trust your other safety to work in pass coverage. And I think it's going to be crazy kind of blitzes throughout this game. And I think especially early on, because you want him to, be forced to get rid of that ball quickly. And if you're able to send a corner on a blitz, on the outside, you can tell your interior guys and your linebackers to stay gap sound down the middle, where if they do, or if they just so happen to be running the ball on that play, you can clog up the middle and still have your corner come off the edge. So I think that it benefits the Chiefs to blitz early in that regard.
Well, I don't know. Their wide receivers, if he is throwing the ball well, their wide receivers are going to catch it. I'd be a little nervous of running a lot of corner blitzes, but that's just me. I'd have to see. I'd have to see how they're gonna come out game plan wise before I made a decision like that. But that's just me. Andy and Spags, who knows, man? They're the guys. They're the ones that really know what they're doing, and I think no matter what, Hertz is gonna see a defensive line that he hasn't seen all year, and I think he's gonna really
one of the best defenses he's faced. Now I would say the 49ers defense is good, but you saw what the Chiefs did to them. I think the Chiefs can raise that bar some. So.
I think so too. We have a great rush defense. We have a great pass defense. I don't know. I think it's just they haven't really been tested with a defense like ours. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be an awakening for them more than anything, and that's something that they have to really. I think they're really kind of banking on. They're not stupid. They've studied for everything we've done, just like we have. And we'll just have to see how it goes, But I think, there you go. I think the Chiefs have the advantage when it comes to the D line. So we'll just have to see.
Brian Daboll just won Coach of the Year.
I see.
Doesn't surprise me. Good for him.
That was the most lackluster good for him I've ever heard, Caleb.
Well, it is. I mean, I'm not surprised he won it. I mean, he did turn around the Giants, who were abysmal for the last 5 years. I wasn't surprised. I did predict that one, JP.
You did.
Quentin, if Mahomes was MVP, I'll yell and scream for you. I got you.
I turned the TV off because I don't want to use up my bandwidth. I got frustrated earlier, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to stay away from it. I actually turned it on when I came in here, and now I've decided I'm not going to watch it. So that's what it is. But you let us know, Caleb. I mean, that's the main thing. You let us know because I'm not paying attention. I don't even want to know at this point. I just hope he wins it. As far as him winning Coach of the Year, I mean, when you got a coach like he had for an offensive coordinator that ran 100% of the play calls for the offense. I don't know. To me, I think it's a little biased, but
I just thought I'd give everybody an update. We can get back to the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
What Andy Reid said that there's going to be, I don't remember his exact quote. I wish I had it in front of me, but he basically said that there's going to be a guy, an unsung hero, a guy that we haven't talked about a lot that's going to come out and have a good game. So let's just go. We'll go offense and defense and just pick a player on the offense and then one on the defense and just sort of talk about who we think might be the guy that ends up having a pretty good game and is not one of the star players on the team. So
let me fix
you guys want to go offense or defense first?
Well, let me fix this really quick.
We can do offense.
Yeah, what he said was a player that we haven't talked about that hasn't played much this year. So that leads me to think something else, but now we can start it because it was a player. You're right, Chiefs Live. It was a player that hasn't played much this year. So now we can.
Well, you want me to go and start with offense then?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got Fortson. The reason why is because he's kind of been an up and down season a little bit. Now you guys may say, well, he's done this, and this. Yeah, but I feel like over the last quarter of the season, people have really forgot about what he can do. When he plays, especially now the Chiefs can use a 3 tight end set. I forgot the name of that special package. It was a very, very popular name. But if they can run a 3 tight end set and can send Fortson deep, that's going to be perfect. Putting with Kelsey, Noah Gray. I think Fortson could be that guy no one's really thinking about, that no one's really preparing, that the defenses are going to be all focused on Kelsey, and they're going to look at Noah Gray, but Fortson's going to get away. That's what I believe personally. Before I talk about Pacheco, McKinnon, all those guys, but I think Fortson could be this guy.
I had Fortson in my head until earlier, and I have a weird feeling he's talking about Clyde.
Yeah.
They're going to let Clyde play? He hasn't played in a month. If he
I
fumbles the ball, I don't know what to say. Okay.
All I can
5,
say is
really?
I had my head on Jody Fortson the entire time, and after he said that, and then I asked,
So
and
you're
then
so I don't mean to interrupt you, JP, but you're telling me he is going to if this makes sense, he is going to basically sideline
not going to
the running
sideline
backs we
anybody.
have now and let Clyde take that individual spot.
He's not going to sideline
Have
anybody.
Rojo still play.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
well,
Rojo.
inactive. Something.
I don't think. I don't know if Rojo's going to play a whole
I don't
lot.
agree with that, but okay,
JP,
that's
I
fine.
never seen you like this, and I'm so worried right now.
I'm just a little concerned, but okay, all right.
Oh my god.
You know what's
no.
funny, Quentin?
It makes
Funny
so
thing you
much
say that,
sense, and
man.
I hate it.
It does. I'm not gonna lie, it does. Well, I'm not hating on Clyde, but he hasn't played in a month. But if he can do it, great. But okay.
You know, Quentin, you said that, and I've heard that from so many people that they know when I'm telling, they know that I'm not full of shit because I refuse to say too much, and I don't want to say too much about this, but I can tell you, yeah, that's.
We have to talk about this off screen.
Bruh.
What you
That's all
got,
I have
Quentin?
to say. Just, bruh. Oh my god. Now I'm just like imagining. You know what? I don't. Oh Jesus. Okay.
Gannon versus Gerbeck.
It's a Gannon versus Gerbach, yeah, because you have a guy that's been on the bench for a week or for multiple weeks, and you just say, well, he was the starter at the beginning of the year, so let's throw him back out there. Jeez. Okay.
I don't think he's going to get. Now, look, I will say this.
Clyde
I
about to
don't
go
think he's
for
going to
50
get an
yards
ignorant
at a
amount
tug.
of plays. I don't think he's going to get I don't think he's going to start. I don't think he's going to get a crazy amount of reps. But I think knowing their run defense and what I was told today, they may give him an opportunity to see what he can do. I'll put it that way.
Okay, well,
I'll leave it at that.
all right.
He said Quell versus Castle. Oh God.
All quarterbacks. What do you got, Quentin? Who's your offensive unsung hero? You think?
Well, I do like the Jody Fortson pick. I think that.
Geno Smith
think
won
that's
comeback player of the year. Sorry, I had to spit that out.
I mean, what did he come back from sucking? I don't like that, but I think comeback player of the year should be for like injured players. And it should be the Alex Smith comeback player of the year award.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I don't know why they've changed the word. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think it would be the Jody Fortson pick is interesting, right? Because for at the beginning of the year, he was a guy in the red zone, but he would get the 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. That was the joke. But he just sort of fell off, and part of that was the injury, right? And I think part of that was just some of the other guys on the team started to come up, and you get injured, and you're gonna sort of lose your spot in terms of the receptions and the amount of plays that you're built into for the offense. So I do like the Jody Fortson pick. I just to not be, not to pick the same guy. I will go the same position though, and I am interested to see what Noah Gray is able to do. I think because we've seen Noah Gray come into a lot of the same plays in terms of the same packages and some of the same plays, even out of the slot as Travis Kelce does. And if they're going to put a lot of effort into stopping Travis Kelce, why not use a similar guy in terms of body size in those same positions and those same packages while Travis Kelce is also out on the field? And you can try and get some of that production from Noah Gray because they're going to devote so much of their manpower to try and stop Travis Kelce, but you can get Noah Gray open in some of those shallow zones and get an easy first down. So I think Noah Gray has been underutilized in terms of his ability. And then again, I don't know how much you can say underutilized just when the ball is being thrown around to so many people, but I just think that he's a guy that can get some production.
Yeah, they're all underutilized to a degree. I mean, we're not a two pony show. We have 10 guys that we can throw a ball to at any point during the game. So I'm not.
Yeah.
and as far as what Andy's comment and Jody and Clyde are concerned, I asked specifically today what the hell he was talking about because it made me a little bit nervous, and that's what I was kind of told. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a couple of packages with Jody and Clyde in. If Clyde is actually active, he is going to be. Look, we have to have an inactive list, so he is probably the closest. Him and Watson are probably the two closest to an inactive player. If you're looking at offensive players in skill positions, so
I think the 13 personnel, 3 tight end sets are going to be important in this game.
I agree.
They absolutely have to be.
Eagles are not great at stopping tight ends throughout the season, and what's Andy Reid best at is evaluating a team's weakness and exploiting it. And when you have, Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the league, Noah Gray, who's a really good backup, and Jody Fortson is a guy that, if the ball's thrown to him, I'm not worried that he's going to drop it. He doesn't got Demetrius Harris' hands. So you've got 3 guys that are able to be productive, especially in short yard situations. Then running some of those 13 personnels and tag that with some motion with like a Kadarius Toney coming from the wide receiver spot to, come across, get some of that misdirection. And I think that'll be a great thing to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that early coming out of Kansas City.
Might happen. I don't put anything past Andy right now. Like I said, he's got something coming, and they're not going to be ready for it. The biggest thing, I guess the biggest fear I have is that Andy shows his cards too early, which he normally never does. This game, I think he has a little bit more. He's got a little bit more investment in it, I should say.
Yeah,
that'd be a good word.
And you could.
That's all.
And I was going to say, you can make the argument too, just kind of on a play scale. They really haven't gone deep in the quote unquote library or the book. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of different things, especially stuff teams have never seen before. And I think Andy's going to be very, very crucial and is going to use a lot of those plays in order to help, and especially in situations that the Chiefs really, really need to score.
Yeah, definitely. Sky Moore, he's right. I mean, I don't disagree with Chiefs Hive. Sky Moore, or Chiefs Live, I think he has an opportunity to really show out this game. We got no McColl, we know that. Sky's going to have to be one of those guys that steps up in the wide receiver room. I think if you're looking at the wide receivers that are healthy, everybody's healthy with the exception of McColl, but who are you going to put out there that's proven the most in situations where Mahomes is scrambling, has to get the ball out? Sky's been there a few times this year, and he's made some crucial catches. I don't know if Watson's done that so much. I mean, he's made a couple of good ones, but he's also missed a few really good ones.
Drop passes last bit of season was a lot.
Yeah. So if I was a betting man on wide receivers that were going to be inactive, I would have to say Watson. But they don't necessarily have to have him inactive. They can have 4th-string defensive line and offensive line guys inactive. They don't need to have any of their wide receivers inactive. They don't have to have any of their running backs inactive if they don't want to. They can scheme around that. So it's going to be a matter of... I got a strange feeling this game is going to be probably the most spread offense we've ever seen out of Kansas City. Ever. And I think no matter what they did all season, it's not even going to compare to this game when it comes to a spread offense. If you don't see 8 to 10 guys, 11 guys catching the ball during this game, I'll be really surprised. So, I just have a feeling. I don't know. I really can't. I don't understand the comment today about Clyde. But again, I know Andy, and I know how he feels about certain people and how he wants to get everybody involved. This is probably not the game to put a guy in that hasn't played in over a month. Hasn't played in 6 weeks. So I would probably be really cautious unless we were up by so much that it really didn't matter. That's just me. But what I was told today is that, they want to exploit their run game, their run D, and he has something that may be able to exploit it. I don't know, man. I think he's going to be on a pitch count if he does play.
Well, you can get him at plus 4,200 to score an anytime touchdown.
It's not bad.
That's
Okay.
Put a bet on that.
Well, hey, you never know. You never know, phone. Quentin. You never. He's like, "Where's my phone?" You want me to go start with defensive players now?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah. Let's go. Go ahead, Caleb. Start with the defense.
My guy is someone you guys probably haven't heard much from this year. It's Mike Dana. Quentin, before you hopped on, JP and I have talked about this guy for many, many years. He was a great start to the season, and he's kind of tailed off. I will say this season he's been fairly consistent throughout, and even the playoffs he played very, very well. I think he can have a sack and a couple QB pressures this game. I believe Mike Dana is going to do really well in the defense line. That's my pick.
Defensively, if we're going off somebody that we haven't heard a lot about, I really don't know. I mean, it's hard to pick because everybody played so well. Even the backups have come in and played well. So it's really hard to pick that. But I can't think of his name right now because I'm so tired, but we have a defensive lineman that is actually up, his contract's up this year.
Is it Williams?
No.
No, not him.
Noddy?
You think Derek Noddy? Okay.
I think Derek Noddy might be a guy that gets in the backfield. Look, man, when he was in the game, the last couple of games he's played in, he's done really well. He actually did it, and I was going to bring this up because he pulled this Colin Saunders flip that I don't remember, was it week 16? Or no, maybe it was the Jaguars game. He did this crazy Colin Saunders flip, and he didn't mean to do it, I don't think. I think he was just trying to get the hell out of the way, but he ended up doing this insane flip and came down on his feet. And I'm like, man, he's got a little Saunders in him. And he's a big man, too. He's not, nothing like a fat guy dance and a fat guy flip. So you see something like that, you're thinking, man, this dude's got a little bit in him, a little bit of Tyreek, doing the back flip and doing the side flip. And I was pretty surprised. I got a weird feeling he might step up as well, man. This is a big game, bro. This is a
That's
big
a good
game.
one. Okay.
So
well, I'm gonna just go with Colin Saunders because if there's any NFL play, if there's any Chiefs player that's running me down, I think Saunders chasing you down would be the most terrifying because just how quick he is.
It's scary fast.
I think
that guy's athletic.
I could just see him I can just imagine, Hurts is trying to scramble, he's going out to his right and he's trying to make a throw or he's trying to run. It's like 3rd and 3 or whatever, and Saunders comes bumbling down and knocks him down, and it knocks him out of field goal range. Right? Like, can't you
That'd
just
be nice.
that? What happens? There's 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and it knocks them out of field goal range, and you're forcing them to punt the ball, right? That's the sort of play that I think I can expect to see from a Colin Saunders. And, at the time, we cheer because it happened, but, we don't realize how big of a play that is until, the next couple of drives later after the Chiefs go down and they score and they go up by double digits, late in the third quarter because Colin Saunders was essentially taking points off the board.
I'm laughing because I was watching some All 22 the other day, and Saunders was chasing this guy, and I had it on condensed, like it was on slow-mo, and I accidentally hit like 5 times the speed. So as he's running, all of a sudden it went to this 5 times supersonic fast-forward speed, and his legs look like little midget legs going about 6,000 miles an hour. And I wish I could have clipped it because it was the best thing ever. And he was chasing the quarterback is what he was doing. He was running after a quarterback. I don't remember what game it was in.
He did that to Burrow, to Lawrence. I mean, I think
it might have been Lawrence, but he actually got him. Whoever it was, he got him. And I was giggling.
Yes.
I'm sitting in my office by myself laughing with nothing on. Everybody probably thought I was nuts, but it was hilarious to watch this because I accidentally hit that button. I mean, it just fast forwarded, like 5 or 10 times, and his little legs were going, and it was just comical to see because I wish I could have seen the eyes of that quarterback. I wish I could have panned in and seen his eyes because see a guy that's 330 pounds coming at you at a 4.4 speed, that's enough to scare the hell out of anybody. And I think.
Well, I mean, just what he's done in the playoff run alone has been very, very helpful. The last couple of season injuries has kind of hurt his season, and he's really showing up. I mean, he could be a player that Chiefs think about possibly bringing back next year.
Could you imagine Colin Saunders playing fullback?
Oh God, a receiver.
Can
you imagine him?
They had him in
Maybe
for
that's
play.
what he does. Maybe
They
Colin
had him
Saunders. Maybe they pull that out of the playbook. You're right, Caleb. He was.
They had him in for
Let's
one
go,
play.
baby.
I remember
Yes,
that.
they had him for
Fat
one
guy
play.
touchdown. That's the most
That'd be nice
exciting
if
play
you
in the
get
NFL.
that. That'd
I will-
be awesome.
I will
Screw the punt
streak.
returns and kick returns for
promise
touchdowns.
you I will
Colin
run down the
Saunders
strip naked.
touchdowns.
I will run down the strip naked if that man lines up in a wide receiver role and scores a touchdown for like 35 yards. I'll pee my pants and then I'll run down the strip naked. Because, look, that's some funny stuff to watch Colin Saunders run anyway. And to see him, man, that would blow the Eagles out of the water. If he lined up, oh my God, dude. I mean,
oh my God. Now we gotta see it. Maybe that's what Andy was talking about. We're thinking about this wrong.
It very well could.
We should have been talking about defensive players on the offense. Colin Saunders, big man touchdown.
oh
Yep.
man.
Because, I mean, we saw earlier with that play earlier in the season, they did like a fake handoff, I think fake handoff to the running back, and he was kind of open, but I think Mahomes had thrown out of bounds or something happened, but he was almost there. So, I don't know. That'd be great to see if he can get a touchdown.
Man, if it happens and Andy pulls something off like that, he will go down as the greatest head coach of all time, no matter what. I mean, just that play alone will put him over the limit, over the edge. So I would love to see that happen. That would be great. I mean, man, can you see him like on the 35-yard line and Saunders just tears off and runs a route? Just out of nowhere, runs this badass route and opens up a lane.
It's like
similar to what Sherman did.
One hand catches a ball,
Oh, wow, that'd be awesome. Got it.
little toe tap swag
Little
going
toe
on
tap
with Colin Saunders.
Oh, yep. They might have to get him off the field because he's gonna be dancing like.
Oh, he will, man. He'll try to spot. He'll try to slam dunk the ball over the goalpost and miss by like 5 feet. Oh man, I'm gonna have that thought in my head all night now.
I'm tweeting that out after the show is over.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey man, hey, don't tweet it out. We don't know who's listening. We got a big page, man. You never know. The Eagles coaches might be paying attention. We don't want to give away any Andy secrets, but that's good stuff. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do the Believe It or what? Has anybody got anything else right now? Is anything going on in the NFL honors that we need to know about?
They haven't announced the next one.
Yeah, they have. They'll probably be doing that pretty soon. They're doing angry runs right now. Kyle Brand is getting very, very animated, and he's talking to, I think that's Damon Pierce, or David Johnson. So
Chris Jones got one Defensive Player of the Year vote.
That is ridiculous. And let me just take the floor with this. I understand maybe Bosa had a better statistical season, but that's ridiculous. One vote, really?
Yeah.
One vote. This man has been dominant all season, and you give him one vote, it's a slap in the face.
Micah Parsons didn't get a single vote.
And that makes no sense. He didn't get a vote either.
Yeah.
I would be. It's just I don't know who are the individuals who vote for this award, but it just feels like in some instances I feel like it's more of a popularity contest in these big market teams rather than just a collective who's the best player. That's how I feel personally.
Yeah, I can't believe that he only got one vote. I mean, when you've got Nick Bosa got 46 votes, Hassan Reddick got 2, Quinnen Williams got 1, and Chris Jones got 1.
Yeah, how did Quentin Williams even get one vote? That's my question.
I don't know. Maybe the guy that covers the Jets.
It made no sense. I don't know. It just literally is confusing. But you know what? I know Chris Jones is probably going to use this as motivation moving forward.
He's probably really pissed off right now.
I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, I guarantee
disrespect right there.
Well, you know what? It'd be better than winning Defensive Player of the Year, winning a Super Bowl MVP, Chris Jones. So why don't you go do that and
Get that
we
ring,
get
too.
all.
down like 5 sacks and just go win the MVP.
Get some
Super
batted
Bowl
passes
MVP.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's sad, but what are you gonna do? I mean, you got to think about who's voting and how it's voted upon and how many people they allow to vote. I think it's kind of ridiculous too, but I think they really need to leave it all to the players. They're the guys that play against them. They're the most honest with each other. They really are. They're the most honest when it comes to this. You don't have biased media guys. You don't have biased fans. You've got players that play against these guys week in and week out. They know everything about them. I think that's how they ought to leave it. So, how they do the top 100. The players vote. And that's what they need to do with this. I don't think it's fair for some jackwagon beat writer out of the Jets to throw a vote in for somebody that doesn't deserve it.
When I saw Quinn, not saying Quinn was a bad player, but I'm like, really? He tied with Chris Jones with votes?
Exactly.
Nah, come on now. Come on.
Is what it is. What are you going to do? Honestly, this night means absolutely nothing but money for the NFL. And
that's what it is.
Padding a little bit of Goodell's pocket.
It's unfortunate because this is how, these awards are how people get into the Hall of Fame. It's how some guys have contracts based off of like the Pro Bowl. If you're a Pro Bowl player, an all-pro player, some guys have contract incentives based on that. So, when guys get snubbed or, however you want to view it, there is a real impact that has. That's why, it's so weird that the Pro Bowl is so important, but yet the Pro Bowl is bad.
We're playing flag football.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. I think Super Bowl appearances and being consistent throughout seasons will get you in the Hall of Fame just as quickly as a stupid vote from some media guy. So, Chris Jones, another 3-4 years of playing the way he's playing right now, and he sticks with us, which I'm sure he's going to, and ends up in a couple more Super Bowls, at least one more. That would be 4 Super Bowls in his career. And if they won 3 of the 4, wow. How could you not put him in the Hall of Fame? Especially when he was a real impact during those games. He was an impact this year. Definitely an impact. Playoffs, really an impact. He was a big help, is a big reason as why we won. So, it's like I said, it's at the top 100. I get a little irritated with that sometimes, simply because you think a player should be there when they shouldn't, but
at least the top 100 is voted in by the players, though.
That's what I'm saying.
That is fair. No,
I like that. I like that part, and that's why I think maybe this should go towards the players because, at least they know who they're playing. It's an even ground. Yeah, you may not get, if you got Antonio Brown's mentality, you probably won't get 1 vote. But if Chris Jones is a likable guy. People like him and they know he's dominant. But you got too many aspects that are throwing their votes in with this. It's part fan, part media, part player, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I don't know if I like the way it is, but can't really change it. So got to move on from it. Well, you want to do the believe it or not real quick?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was wondering if I should call an audible and put one of these as Clyde.
Go ahead.
But I guess just
how many you have?
Why don't you just do this? Why don't you just it's
add it to it.
Close to the end of the year, just add to it.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start with that one. Believe it or not, Clyde gets either a reception or a rush. Do you think he touches the football?
I believe it. I think that I see them letting him play and getting at least something. Now, I don't know if he's going to get a touchdown, but I think he's going to have a positive impact, and I don't think he's going to fumble the ball or drop a pass. I'm going
to go ahead and say yeah, and I'll leave it at that.
I can't say yes. So
you never know.
No, man.
Well, it's not like you're going to get MVP if you're wrong. So,
Yeah, I can't. I can't in good conscience say that the guy that's been sitting out for almost 2 months at this point is going to touch the football in the biggest moment of the year.
He said
That's
we
all
would
right.
let CEH lose.
Oh, this would be a good talking point.
Yeah. Hey, if we lose and CEH is in the game, I will keep this on the page and I'll make a little clip of it and keep it on this show. But hey, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna say he's gonna touch the ball. I will say he will.
You know
touch...
what? I hope he touches the ball on the sideline or.
Hey, there was no rule with that. There was no rule. I didn't say he was going to touch it on the field. I just said he was going to touch a ball.
I mean, he's probably going to do the role moments right. So
okay, now we're going to have serious moments. Let's just keep going with the offense. I think I want to talk about Kadarius Toney. Up until Kadarius Toney got injured, he was a pretty significant part of the offense. So and the special teams. So let's just believe it or not, Kadarius Toney gets 50 yards from scrimmage.
I believe it. I think Andy Reid is going to have plays specifically designed for him. I see he's going to do a lot of I think we're going to see a lot of different things out of Kadarius Toney. And I think what's going to happen specifically, there's going to be specific matchup Andy's going to have, and he's going to probably get a couple over the top and maybe even break a couple. Jet sweep as well. I think that can happen. Pop passes. I think he will get very close to 50, and I can see him eclipsing that as well. So I believe it.
I will say that I think a lot of this game plan is going to be centered around Toney and his ability to get in the open space. I think he definitely will get 50 yards, and I think he'll get a touchdown.
Yeah?
Yep.
I think so. Look, Kadarius Toney to me is the most exciting skill position player that the Chiefs have. At any moment, he's the guy at any moment, that could turn into a touchdown, especially with McCole Hardman obviously not playing, being on IR. Kadarius Toney is now that guy. He's the one that one little dump pass, one little flat route, the little pop pass, wide receiver, screen, jet sweep, all of those little things that take place within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage can turn into a touchdown. And anytime he touches the ball, he's breaking guys' ankles, putting them outside of their shoes. I mean, he's no, I'm going to ignore that. He is an exciting player, and I think that 50-yard from scrimmage is, if you consider how many guys are going to get receptions in this game, 50 yards, may end up being quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no wide receiver in this game that ends with 100 receiving yards. But I think Clyde, he's not a wide receiver.
True,
but I mean, the Chiefs have won games this year without having any of their receivers, Travis Kelce included, breaking the 100-yard mark.
That's true.
So there was that. I think was it against the Raiders the second time? I don't remember which game it was, but Travis Kelce had like 90, and then Juju got like 75, and then a bunch of guys behind him were around 40. So this offense can work without one guy completely taking over the game.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the way the Super Bowl is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be more spread than we've ever seen it, I think. That's something that this defense of the Eagles has never seen. That's what I feel like. Okay.
All right. After we ignore that comment, we are going to move on.
I love that comment. Hey, man. Jeff A. So if you place that bet, how much are you going to bet? And how long are you going to rub this in Quentin's face if you win?
You know what? I'll be happy for you. If you put money down on Clyde to score the first touchdown of the game at plus $4,200, I'll be happy for you. I'll give you a shout out. All right, that's fine. You do you, man. You must be in a better financial situation than I am, but hey, that's fine.
1 in 4,200. It's worth betting a buck.
Plus 4,200 to score the first touchdown of the game, despite the fact that he's averaged 0.6 a game. But that's fine.
Oh, what do you say?
All right. I want to let's go to the defense here for a little bit.
Okay.
We know we know Sack Nation is in full swing. Frank Clark the Shark and Chris Jones are an important part of Sack Nation. I believe that, what is it? Is Chris Jones calls himself the ambassador of Sack
The
Nation?
CEO. The
Oh,
CEO.
CEO.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the
Mhm.
CEO.
And we know that the defensive line is going to have to step it up. So, believe it or not, the Chiefs walk away with 3.5 sacks.
Oh, I believe that. I think the defense is going to get after him. I think with a combination of Dana, also when we're looking at individuals such as a Chris Jones, Frank Clark, but here's someone we haven't really talked about, Carlos Dunlap. I think this is a game where he goes all out. I think this really is, and the combination of our defense line, I think we can get 3.5 sacks on him for sure.
I think so too.
At least I'm going to say at least through 2.5 to 3. At least 2.5 to 3, but I really believe it's possible with the defensive players we have and the magnitude of the game that is at stake.
Yeah, I think with Karlaftis and everybody that's really come on, and the way they rotate, and the way they throw out some exotic schemes, and they're able to move players over to open the gaps. I think for sure they can get 3.5 sacks on him.
So I think the Chiefs are going to be able to get pressure on Hurts, but I think that they're going to try and adjust a quick passing game. So I don't know if the Chiefs are able to get more than 3 sacks. I do think they walk away with 2. I'm not sure who's going to get it. I hope, obviously I would hope that they get more than the 3.5, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with the under, but I don't think that's because there's no pressure. I think that's because during the second half, if the Chiefs are able to get pressure, the Eagles offense adjusts and starts to go more quick game, which honestly I think benefits the Chiefs because the Chiefs have been have been one of the best cover 2 teams in all of football. So I'm going to go with the under on this one, but I don't think it's because of a lack of pressure.
My question is this. I've watched a lot of Eagles games since we found this out. I haven't seen them go into a quick pass situation even when they're on the ropes. The average time he holds onto the ball is about, I think, 3.9 seconds, which is about a second and a half longer than pretty much everybody else except Mahomes. It scrambles a lot better. So I just haven't seen it. Maybe you've seen something I haven't. But if they go into a quick pass, I think that's going to throw them off because they're not used to doing it. That's just, to me, is putting a lot of pressure on them. And I'm happy with that if that's what they do.
I would say in response to that they haven't been under. And I think that that if you're under pressure and your quarterback's hurt, you can't throw the ball down the field. So you can't wait to throw the ball down the field. So your only other option is to adjust and to go more quick game. We know that the Eagles do like to run some no huddle. So there is a tendency there for them to run quick stuff down the field when they want to. But the Eagles haven't been down a lot this year, so they just haven't had to pull that out of the repertoire.
Yeah, maybe so.
Okay, my final one, the last melon, as they say on Ice Age. I kind of want to go to the run game for the Chiefs and Isaiah Pacheco, because Isaiah Pacheco for about a month straight was getting 80 yards from scrimmage. And last week, 2 weeks ago, man, this bye week is really messing with me. He got really involved in the pass game last week, which we hadn't seen. So I think 80 yards, let's just go back to the 80 yards. So Isaiah Pacheco gets 80 yards from scrimmage again.
80 yards, you mean rushing or all purpose? Just running?
From scrimmage.
I'm going to say yes, and the reason why is because the passing and the running attack, I think Andy is going to throw a couple screenplays in there. I think he's maybe will bust a couple runs. He may get another 2 or 3 of those. I think it's very possible. He could very well get 80. He may get lower, less than that. I don't see him eclipsing 100, but I think 80 is going to be a good medium to see, because I think also with McKinnon in the CH plays, it's going to be all distributed. I'm just saying, Quinn, don't be a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm a realist. Now, some people interpret that as a hater, but
he's a hater.
What I mean is this: you have all these great offensive weapons in the backfield. not one person's going to take over. I think they're going to distribute around between all these guys, regardless if CH does play. I think you can use Rojo in a sense and these other guys, especially McKinnon.
Okay. We all know that the run defense of the Eagles has been in question to a degree. So I think he absolutely gets 80 yards. I think if he breaks one run and Andy sees it, he's going to exploit it. And with that being said, if he does it a few times, you might see Clyde come in the game. Just a little break.
That just hurts my soul.
Just a little breaksy break. Just a little rest.
Are you done physically hurting me?
Maybe. We got a little.
You know, the physical hurts skill, the mental ones don't. So
well, we got some.
You're just draining my. You're draining my emotions right now. You know, a couple of days out from the Super Bowl.
Don't worry, our emotions are going to be drained once 5:30 hits.
Oh, this is going to be so stressful. This is going to be so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's going to be. If you're not a fan of either of these teams, first of all, I don't know why you're not a Chiefs fan. They're the best team in the league. You know, bring those bandwagon fans over. But if you're not a fan of either of these teams, this is going to be a fantastic Super Bowl to watch. I mean, this has got to be the highest rated Super Bowl that the NFL is going to have in a while. This is going to be a great football game. Stressful for two specific cities, but a very exciting football game. And I really do think that this is the first time that I think you could say that these are truly and honestly the two best football teams from their conference. I don't know.
Well, here's the greatest part about this, Quentin, is that you got teams that absolutely hate our guts, like Cincinnati, and all they're doing right now is rooting for the Eagles. So they're going to watch this game simply just to see if we can lose. If we lose this game, they'll be happy. But if we're winning, now you may see the ratings drop off about halftime, maybe third quarter. If we're still in the lead, still dominating, we're up by 10, up by 14, whatever the case may be, you'll probably see the ratings dump a little bit because every Cincinnati fan is going to go home, kick their dog, maybe smack their wife around a little bit.
Jesus, JV.
And then they'll go to bed. That's just what's going to happen because they're all crazy. Even their mayor. So,
oh, God.
Kelsey already talked about that. But I think, we see it's going to be ebb and flow of all those different things. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. We see with every Super Bowl, especially the last bit, that's probably when the ratings are peaking because you see the drive where the team is really driving down the field to score. That lasts a little bit. So
yeah, I guess it just depends.
I mean, I wouldn't say all Bengals fans. I think just in general, a lot of teams just do not like the Chiefs, and it is what it is. Like we see, like Jamar Chase is walking around saying stuff on radio, how just saying a bunch of silly stuff about calls, and don't want to hear that from there. But I just think as a whole, as Quinn was saying, this is one of the most competitive games we've ever seen, and because of that, I think that as a whole, this is going to be a huge legacy game for whoever quarterback wins it. And I believe the Chiefs can win this when we get our score production a little bit. But I think as a whole, looking at these teams and how they've been built and what they've gone through the last 10 years, I think a lot is riding on many different things. So that's how I feel.
I think you're just being a little too diplomatic.
What do you say?
You want to know how much it costs for a Super Bowl ad?
What is it? $75,000?
A 30-second Super Bowl ad.
Probably $3 million.
Keep going up.
What?
More than 3 now?
10 million.
Yeah. Is it up to 4?
It costs $8 million for a 30-second Super Bowl.
Wow, it's really went up this year.
I wish I had that money. I wish I had that.
You said MVP, Chris Jones, book it. You talking about the Super Bowl or tonight?
Like, no, he's talking about Super Bowl.
You said $8 million, Quentin?
Yeah, $8 million for a 30-second Super Bowl ad.
Wow.
And I did say I think you're being a little too diplomatic. I think you're just a diplomatic guy, and that's okay because you are. But you know what?
All right. Well,
if you look at all the teams in the NFL,
I'm just saying they just don't like us.
They don't, but they all collectively, the AFC, most of them don't like us.
Yeah, they're haters.
Cincinnati really hates us.
Oh no, I agree
fans that look, there's fans that actually came and said, hey, it was a bunch of crap, blah blah blah.
That's okay. They at home. Who they at home on the couch? That's all I have to say. So,
but
bro, how do you
had a lot of
feel
Bills
you're
fans
saying?
Jump in.
How do you feel you're saying?
Me?
No,
them? They sold for the Saints, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you gonna steal?
I don't know. Bengals. They in
come
their
up
own.
with something. I'm sure you could come
They
up
don't
with
know
something.
how. They don't know how.
I don't know. They've been not a good. You know what? I'm happy the Chiefs put them in their place. That was a great win, and I'm just gonna move on from that because the Chiefs are in a spot the Bengals aren't in. They have a chance to win a Super Bowl, and the Bengals. I don't think have the Bengals ever won a Super Bowl. No, I don't think they have.
No, I got an empty case
But
sitting here for him.
Okay. What are your guys' score predictions for the game? What are you guys' score predictions?
The over/under is 51,
Okay.
and that is the Eagles are favored by 1.5 points. Now, with that in mind, if you truly think that this is a pick'em kind of game, because a 1.5 point game is a pick'em, why would you not go with Patrick Mahomes? Now, obviously, I think all three of us are going with the Chiefs, and if you're not, you can just leave the show now and blame your internet to save you some embarrassment. But I think
anybody
that
who's listening, let's not get crazy, guys.
I was talking to you two.
I know,
but
I'm not being a hater.
I think that this is going to be a 28-27 kind of game. Well, no, hold on. No, because I need an extra field goal in there.
I was going to say, Cynthia Freeland just joined the show. Because that's exactly how she picked it, a 1 point game.
I want a 1 point game, but I need a field goal in there somewhere, so I need to redo my math.
24, 26, 5. I don't know. Field goal fest?
Yeah, 20. We'll go 27-30 Chiefs.
Okay.
That way I get a couple of field goals in there. But, yeah, I don't understand how, if you truly think this is a pick'em game, why you're going with the Chiefs, because Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate equalizer. And you should never pick against Patrick Mahomes in a pick'em game.
No, you shouldn't. Look, I'm going to say this is probably going to be... Look, I hate to be that guy that wants to say it's a blowout because it's not going to be. As much as I want it to be a blowout, it's not going to be a blowout. But I do think it's probably going to be a 7-point game. So I'm going to go 34-28. No, 34-27, I guess that would be. Right? Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna give mine this, and no, I'm not gonna pick the other team, Quentin. I'm not leaving the show, but I obviously am gonna pick the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I'm gonna say, this is how I feel personally. I'm gonna say 32-26, 32-27. I think the Chiefs are gonna defense gonna.
Well, which one is it?
27, 32-27. We'll do that. 32-27. Since you want to go analytical, they're gonna get a couple field goals in there. You being ornery for a show?
I'm writing it down. I write them down, so
That's fair. No, I think 32-27. The reason why I think the defense is going to step up, I think I can see individuals such as Colin Sanders or Willie Gay or Nadi knock them out of field goal range a couple times. I also can see the Chiefs when they really need to go down and score, and the defense can get a couple turnovers. And I believe also, when it comes to Hurts' injury, he may not be able to throw the ball downfield as effectively as we individuals think he can, because that's something that hasn't been really talked about. And we said earlier, but that's a huge, I think, kind of look at there. So that's how I feel.
Because they're getting ready to announce the MVP. So we got to stick around for that so we can either rant and rave or go yippee-ki-yay.
Real quick, who's been the most correct on the believe it or not in score predictions this season?
I think.
So I know almost had a full sleep.
I think
on
it was
one
me,
of them.
but I could be.
I think. Well, I know I've been the closest with the score predictions.
Okay.
I know Caleb went on a run over the past 2 or 3 weeks towards the end of the season.
And I'm being too diplomatic. I'm giving you a hard time, man.
It's fun. I'm just trying to figure out what this dude said. Oh, no. Okay. Nothing major. All right.
Well, they're announcing they have Mahomes, Hurts, and those are the two individuals. They probably have some more, but they're about to announce the MVP. Kurt Warner is up.
So Mahomes won the MVP.
No, they haven't done. Well, it's probably going to break on tour. Oh, he won it. Yep, he did. Mahomes won it. It's out.
Thank
Mahomes
God.
won it. Thank God.
I didn't want to start cussing.
Mahomes wins the MVP. Thank
Easiest
God.
decision in the history of decisions.
Thank
It really
goodness.
It's actually you can call the whole world Mr. Obvious now.
MVP Pat.
Wonder
Everybody
what the
got him all year.
I wonder what the voting was like.
I'm looking at it right now. I can tell you guys. It's Ari Myrov is the one that's been posting it. So I don't know. It's nice he won it. That is great to all those haters. No, it's not good. All right.
Hurt should have won.
Well, Hurts got hurt.
Yep, he did. So
but
did
you know what?
Mahomes played through. So.
Yeah.
Second MVP is already trending on Twitter.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Wow.
You know, a quarterback or a player has never won both regular season MVP and NFL MVP or Super Bowl MVP.
Oh wow!
So that's never happened before. So,
Brady, I know 1 year, he like went 1-1 and didn't get that. Maybe he can get double. That'd be nice. That is awesome. Okay, let me see. Where's the vote at? Is it out here? Come on, Ari. You always have everything out for us. You always break it. Dang, he doesn't have it out yet. Well, hey, second MVP. I think we could all say if Mahomes retired today, he's already in the NFL. First ball Hall of Famer. So
maybe he never got told. Maybe
he's been doing them all night. He's been doing them all night. He's been saying that.
I know, but maybe they just didn't tell him because it's Mahomes.
Well, maybe, I have a feeling we're gonna find out pretty soon. I think.
Yeah, I'm assumed. Hurts
okay, here it is.
Right,
you want to know? Okay, so guess. There are 50 people who voted. Guess how many people voted for Mahomes? Oh no, real quick. Guess how many people voted for Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen combined?
2.
No, okay. I'm gonna go with 4.
4. Okay. How many guys do you think individuals voted for Mahomes?
48.
50. Let's see. I said. So I'm gonna go 53 because there's 5.
Okay. So JP was right. I'm guessing you saw the tweet.
I didn't see anything. I don't have
Mahomes got 48 votes. Allen and Hurts both got 1 vote each.
There you go. Boom. So, boom.
It's pretty good.
I was right about something.
Pretty good.
I'm going to tag that.
But that's good, though. 2 MVPs. Very phenomenal.
He's got 2 MVPs and a Super Bowl MVP in his career right now. And he's 5 years into the league.
5 championship games. 3 Super Bowl appearances.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Can somebody look up his yardage really quick? His all-time yardage.
Let me see if I can find it. I know he has a third of Super Bowls and Troy Aikman, so that's good.
That's true. That is true.
I think he has... How many? He has less than 200 touchdowns, I believe.
Mm-hmm. He has I'm seeing 24,241 passing yards
in regular season.
That's just NFL career passing yards. So I think that's everything.
24,000 passing yards in 5 years.
Yeah,
that's insane. He's got 195 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
Here we go. Yeah. His Pro Football Reference page has him at 192.
But he had 192 before the. Well, that might be regular season because he had.
No, that has to be all time. Is that all time? That
no, because he had how many? He had 2 in the AFC Championship game, and he was at 191
when
we.
If you ever want to laugh, just go to the Pro Football Reference page and read some of the nicknames that Pro Football Reference says people call him. Right. I'm gonna go through some of them, and some of them you're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Like Showtime, Magic Man, right? Grim Reaper, that was a big deal. Shannon Sharp always calls him Mahome Boy, the Gunslinger. Like all of these things we've heard, right?
Yeah.
Here, Pro Football Reference has all of those. Here's 2 I bet you've never heard before in your life: The Musician, okay?
Musician.
Yeah, and Fat Trick.
Okay, never heard of that one.
No one. I've never heard anybody call Patrick Mahomes Fat Trick.
Yeah.
Okay, never heard of that, but okay. Well, that's what they want to roll with. That's okay.
That's weird. That's weird.
But hey, 2 MVPs. Hey, Harold Coons just tweeted this out. He said 2 MVPs, 5. So let me find the tweet right here. He said 2 MVPs, 5 AC Championship appearances, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl win in MVP, Pro Bowl in every season. He started 5,614 total yards this season. If there's not a greater player, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's nobody better than him.
At this
He
point,
will
you
go
just
down
gotta
as the
keep playing.
single-handed best quarterback that ever played this game.
Mm-hmm.
He will. I mean,
Yep.
it's insane, but that's what he's going to go down as. So, well, that made my night finally. So I'm glad to hear it. Now he just needs to get an MVP in the Super Bowl.
That other Super Bowl would put him in some elite category, and also Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah. Well, no, Eli didn't have a regular.
Eli has
season
2.
Yeah, but he didn't have a regular season and a Super Bowl MVP.
I was talking about Super Bowls. Super Bowl wins.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm just saying if he gets another MVP in the Super Bowl, wow, that's going to be pretty amazing for him to get in the middle of the season.
There's a tweet going around Mahomes' stats whenever he first got the MVP and this right now, and the only thing that has changed significantly, the only thing that's down from that year is the touchdowns, and that's by 9. Everything else has gone up. So, great company.
Yep. Wow. Amazing. Who would have ever thought that we'd be in this position?
I mean, and I'm going to keep saying this, golden era of Chiefs football. We have to enjoy it while it lasts.
Man.
It's awesome. It's amazing, and it's because of Big Red, 1-5, Veach, and, that Clark Hunt has allowed this team to be run like it.
Yeah. And we can't leave out 87. 87's really put
15 plus 87 equals 6. I don't care what my math teacher says.
Yes, that is true. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, guys, I don't know what else we got, but I am very happy now, and I'm sure my wife will tell me when I get downstairs. Are you happy now? Yes, I am, because I told her earlier if they don't give Mahomes the MVP, I might break a TV.
I'll be happy on Monday morning.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be a stressful weekend.
It's going to be so stressful.
I'm going to tell you now, Quentin, when you said the 1-point victory, I'm like, really? We really want to have that much stress? I mean, it'll be worth from the end if they win, but do we really want all that stress?
Well, all I can tell you is this has been stressful anyway. I've got a paraplegic dog I'm babysitting for the weekend. And it's not fun because he can't get up and down. He can't really do much of anything. He runs on his front feet because his back feet don't move. So he's a cute little guy. It's just a lot of stress. Now I got to worry about him and the football game for the next 3 days. So anyway, hey, for everybody that's listening, make sure you join the giveaway that's going on Twitter. Do not pay attention to the fake page that's going around that looks exactly like ours. They've been reported, so don't fall into the trap for them.
Look at their followers and look at their stuff in their bio. I mean, yeah, it's similar, but it's obvious. So just double check.
Twice, so this is the second time, but this one's really close, so you got to be careful. They're using our logos, they're using our header, they're using all of the wording in our page. Everything's exactly the same. So you just have to look at the follower account and make sure it's not us. Make sure you join. Check out Foco Sports. We appreciate them for sponsoring us on this show. We are going to do 2 more shows. We're going to do a pregame show and a postgame show after the Super Bowl. And as much as I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, we are going to be, at my time anyway for everybody, we're going to be doing a show 9 p.m. Eastern time with TSS Fantasy Football. Lance the Spoken's going to be on there, and some other random guy I don't know, but it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a blast to talk football with those guys again. So Sunday's going to be pretty busy. With that being said, make sure you check it all out, and we will talk to you guys. What?
Can I say one thing real quick?
Say what you ever.
I just want to give a shout out to JP and Quentin. It's been an honor working with you guys this year, especially you, Quentin, and JP as well. You guys have done a lot of work. We appreciate it. And don't give me that look. I can take my thing back, Quentin. No, I really appreciate working with you guys.
I didn't do shit.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No, I really appreciate you guys been working with you guys. We've come a long way, and it's true to you guys. Thank you. Regardless of win or lose, great team to work with. And for those who are interested, maybe joining and want to help us, DM us, send us an email. we'll get back to you. But I just want to shout out to you guys because you guys do a lot of work behind the scenes, and I appreciate all the work you guys do. So thank you.
We appreciate you, and we got a lot of shows left to do in the off season, so we're gonna have a lot more fun during the off season. So
Yeah, Chiefs
this
got
is definitely not over.
Yeah, Chiefs got a ton of cap space. This is going to be a fun off season. You know, and of course the AFC West, a ton of stuff's going to be done in the AFC West again. I think the Chargers are going to blow up what they have, so it'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of Chiefs things.
Hello, Mac to Kansas City.
Yeah, the Chiefs will be doing stuff. The AFC West is going to get blown up again. So, you know, keep coming back over the summer. I'm going to be covering the Royals here. Pitchers and catchers report on Monday. So if you like Royals baseball, I know it's hard to consume Royals content. The Royals don't have an athletic writer. So, you know, make sure you come to our website. I'll be putting out Royals content.
Yes.
And it'll be, you know, it's going to be fun.
It'll definitely be fun.
And don't ever forget how great how great this run has been for Kansas City. I'm so happy I grew up in a time, you know, to like have hindsight. You know, it's crazy to think that there are kids now who were 7 years old when Patrick Mahomes first started and are now 12, and all they know their entire football life is Patrick Mahomes being a god. So,
my early years were pain, Quentin. Our early years were pain, and JP's was pain too.
Yeah,
at least he got to see the 90s. You know, they didn't make playoff runs or anything, but they were good. You know, like the Chiefs were relevant in the 90s and early 2000s.
Hey, we got to the playoffs. We just, you know,
you just couldn't win anything in the playoffs.
No. The worst defeat I've been involved with was the '93 Buffalo defeat.
I can't say the phrase "no punt game" around my father because I'll have a conniption. So
yeah, I cried. So
anyways, we can call it good here.
Yeah, we're good to go. I don't want to cry anymore. All right, guys.
Go Chiefs.
We will talk to you guys on Sunday. Peace out, everybody.
See you next time, guys.